Hello, welcome to Joy News Desk with me, Mamisi Nyamiche Thompson. Coming up this hour, President Mahama rallies the nation against divisiveness and political points as he sets up a board of inquiry to determine the cause of the military helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 2 ministers of state and 6 others in the Ashanti region.
This is not a time for division, speculation, or political point scoring. It is a time for strength, for empathy, and for the enduring Ghanaian spirit that still stands tall when all else has failed.
We have more as a state funeral is to be held for the 8 patriots.
On Friday, 15th August, an interdenominational state funeral will be held for the 8 heroes at the Black Star Square.
Also this morning, forensic tests are being expedited in South Africa to identify the remains of the deceased, with some results expected today.
Do further examination and investigation just for the awareness of doubt. And some of the forensic that needs to be done, taking samples, how to be done outside the country.
Also coming up, NCA describes DSTV's pricing model as inimical to the public interest as it formally notifies MultiChoice Ghana of its intention to suspend the company's authorization to operate its pay TV service in the country. And more coming up with me, Mamisi Nyamiche Thompson. Don't go away. President John Mahama is rallying the nation to rise above divisiveness and resist political point scoring in his first public speech in the wake of the tragic military helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 2 ministers of state and 6 others in the Ashanti region. A board of inquiry to uncover the exact cause of the crash has been formed. The president confirmed that investigators have retrieved both the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder to support the probe. Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbaba reported on the activities that marked the first day of the 3-day national mourning.
A trumpet sounds solemnly through the ceremonial gardens of the Jubilee House. A cloud of grief and deep sorrow hung in the air as the nation mourns. The president appeared visibly emotional, at times wiping away tears. The vice president and chief of staff also struggled to contain their emotions. Government appointees, party executives, members of parliament, and ordinary Ghanaians have all gathered here in a united show of respect and mourning. As part of the ceremony, flowers were laid and candles lit in memory of the 8 persons. The 2024 flag bearer of the People's National Convention, PNC, Bernard Mona, shared a deeply personal moment revealing that his son had been scheduled to present an idea to the late Minister of Environment. But fate, he said solemnly, had other plans.
And see, my son, where is Maliri? Mutala was scheduled to meet my son yesterday, not today, 9:30 a.m. for a presentation that they have on plastic waste and also on STEM education. So they had prepared to come and meet because Tuesday he was supposed to meet them last week and they didn't come on. They were ready to meet him and they didn't. And I have said at many platforms, possibly if Omani had picked my call yesterday, given our connection, he would have requested that I join him in the flight so that we can have a conversation. When he's done, then we can talk and come back. And God decided that he should go. So in terms of integrity, service to nation, they have distinguished themselves.
Political science lecturer and CEO of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Professor Ransford Jampo, also shared a deeply personal connection. He said the late Defense Minister, Dr. Mane was the one who encouraged him to accept a government role. He added that he supervised the dissertation of the late Environment Minister, Murtala Mohammed.
I have a personal relationship It was one of the reasons why I accepted the offer to serve in this government. Anytime there's a program, he will call me. Look, there's a program, make sure you attend. And when you go, make sure the old man sees you. I said, but I don't like that. I mean, a lot of people would want to go greet the then candidate Mahama after the program. And I usually would want to. I said, no, make sure he sees you. And he keeps talking to me about some of these things. He kept talking to me about some of these things and all that. It's a great strategist, very smart, very intelligent, very resilient, strong-willed person. And above all, he's a human being, or Nipa. So I'm very much pained. We assisted and supervised the PhD dissertation of Motala. Yes. I was one of his supervisors first day. I later became the lead supervisor of his dissertation. And he completed last year, graduated last year, producing one of the best dissertations, PhD dissertations in the political science department. A very kind-hearted person.
Deputy CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Gilbert Agri, popularly known as Abeku Santana, shared a very personal story about his childhood memories with Dr. Omane Boamah.
All of them. Honorable Omane Boamah is my mate. We both grew up from Koforidua. We all completed sixth form the same year. He was in Pojosa, I was in Ghana. But beyond that, we were very close. I know his mother. His mother is my mother's friend. We all grew up together. And his father was the Central Regional Deaf and Deaf officer. Yeah. So when I was in Cape Coast during my O-level, when I ran out of money, I go to his father. So Kofi and I, we are brothers. I mean, before politics, before we entered the university. So, I mean, whenever I see him, Kofi, then Abeku, then we talk, we chat. You know, so the memories of our childhood, beginning. I remember when he was a mass server of Reverend Father Gabriel Pamabako at the St. George's Parish Cathedral in Koforidua in the 80s. He was a mass server. Yeah, and I'm a Methodist. So we know ourselves. We all come from Koforidua. We grew up together. Like I said, his mother is my friend. She worked at the ministry, I think land valuation. So I know him very well before he even came to politics. So I was traumatized. In fact, I couldn't wrap my head around that. What happened? How did it happen? Has he survived? Has he been injured? I was just thinking about possibility that he has escaped and he's hurt. Until, the confirmation. I still can't believe it.
Well, President John Mahama says this movement calls for unity, respect for the dead, and national cohesion as the country mourns a devastating loss of some of its finest public servants.
Gallant men each served Ghana with distinction. And as we mourn, questions about the cause of this tragedy are only natural and important. And I want to assure the families and the nation that the Ghana Armed Forces has initiated a full and transparent investigation into the circumstances of this crash. An investigative board of inquiry has been set up to investigate the cause of the crash. The flight data and cockpit voice recorders have both been retrieved. All 8 of the bodies of our departed comrades have been retrieved, and the government is in close touch with the bereaved families about identification of the bodies and final interment. In this moment of national grief, let us remember that we are above all Ghanaians, united not just by our nationality, but by our shared hope, our shared humanity, and now our shared sorrow. Let us set aside our differences and offer our collective compassion to the bereaved families. This is not a time for division, speculation, or political point scoring. It is a time for strength, for empathy, and for the enduring Ghanaian spirit that still stands tall when all else has failed. Let our words be of comfort, our actions be of kindness, and our unity be the tribute we offer to those whose lives have been lost. To the families, to the Ghana Armed Forces, to the ministries and departments that have lost dedicated staff, and to the National Democratic Congress, which mourns the passing of valued members, may you find strength in their memory and their legacy. May we all be comforted by the knowledge that though they are gone from our sight, they remain forever in the spirit of the nation they so faithfully served.
The President also announced the date for a state burial for the 8 patriots.
On Saturday, 9th August at 5 p.m., the nation will gather at the forecourt of the State House for an evening of reflection and memorial in honor of our departed colleagues. Books of condolences will be opened simultaneously at the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ghana Armed Forces headquarters, and the National Democratic Congress headquarters, and also the head office of NADMO from Sunday, 10th August to Thursday, 14th August. On Friday, 15th August, an interdenominational state funeral will be held for the 8 heroes at the Black Star Square. My brothers and sisters, my fellow countrymen and women, may God bless their souls, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Well, forensic experts in South Africa are fast-tracking DNA tests to identify the charred remains of the victims of the helicopter crash. Authorities say preliminary results could be available as early as today. But we've been speaking to Interior Minister Mubarak Mohamed Muntaka, who gave details. Ken Jesse has more on the following report.
The mortal remains of Defense Minister Dr. Edward Omanibuama and Environment Minister Dr. Murtala Mohammed, along with 6 others who tragically lost their lives in a helicopter crash yesterday, have been transported to South Africa to conduct a DNA on their bodies to be able to identify who is who. Now, when the incident happened in the Ashanti region yesterday, they were burnt beyond recognition, and due to that, it has been difficult to identify the bodies with the individuals. Interior Minister Muntaka Mubarak had a few words to say.
But to speed up the investigation, obviously we need to do further examination and investigation just for the avoidance of doubt. And some of the forensic that needs to be done, taking samples, how to be done outside the country. So that's why we are trying to fast track, and you see all that. We know that this evening the President will address the country and the world, so we hope that we will all be patient and wait for the President's address. I want to thank the families sincerely for all the cooperation that we've had from them and the support they've shown. We know they are grieving, they are in a hurry to have their family members so that they can attend them. But we are happy that they are cooperating with us, because it's not just about burying. It's beyond burying, trying to establish what happened, how things went, so that we avoid it into the future. So we want to thank the family for all the support. And together with the Health Minister, the Minister for Lands, who is now acting as the Defense Minister, we've been working around the clock just to speed up everything. And this is part of the process. So we are hoping that this evening, when the President addresses the country, other better particulars may be given.
Their bodies are expected back in Ghana as soon as the DNA is concluded. They were accompanied to South Africa by some Ghanaian delegation, which included officials from the Criminal Investigation Department. Or the family of Muntaka Mohammed, who is a Muslim, would have wished that he was buried today according to the customs of Islam, but due to the nature of how they were burnt. From the Kotoka International Airport, my name is Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
Well, Dr. Paul Poku Sampani Ose is a consultant histo and forensic pathologist, and he's concerned about how the crash site and remains were handled. He spoke on the AM show.
When we take such samples to places like South Africa, Nigeria, or wherever that we deem fit to take it there, I feel so sad about it. If it is on their own, that would be fine. Maybe doing it, by paying this all by themselves, that is okay. But to use the resources of the nation and go and get some of these things done, that is where the worry is. There's this question of why is it that Ghana, we don't purchase or we don't procure some of these, assuming that we don't have, which of course I don't want to buy into that we don't have what it takes to do DNA. And even no matter how quick or how urgent we want it, I don't think in doing tests, it's not a question of how fast you want it done, but how accurate and how genuine the whole thing is going to be like. It's not about you want to fast track it because some people want their bodies to be, to bury. That is not the issue here. So the governments have failed the system by not investing in the medical system here in Ghana. They spend so much money to train us. They spend so much money, resources to train us outside of Ghana. And when we come back, we just come back to join the system as it is. And let me also add that if they don't have confidence in our system, in our institutions of training, why would they send their children to us to come in, to train them in the medical schools?
Also on the AM show, spokesperson for the Chief Imam, Sheikh Amiyao Shaibu, called for a posthumous celebration of the individuals involved in the crash.
Let's not waste this kind of sacrifice of these gallant men. So the posthumous, honoring them as national heroes, I think something symbolic, a memorial, for example, can be done somewhere so that all the time we begin to remember them for what they have done for this nation. And then the lessons involved is for us to really be inspired and renew our commitment to really, this has given us a sense that, so this is what Galamsey can lead to. So we are living and others are dying. And they have died through that tragedy, but also others are dying slowly by the consumption of the poisonous substance we are taking as a result of Galamsey. The sincerity. And then the third thing I want to mention is, you see, death and this tragedy do not have political color.
Sure.
And I have seen how our politics have become a partisan politics of antagonism and hatred.
Well, amid widespread speculation surrounding the cause of the military helicopter crash, attention has turned to the black box, a critical flight recorder that could hold the answers to what went down. But did you know that the black box is not black? There's more in the following report.
The black box in airplanes refers to two essential flight recorders that are crucial for investigating accidents and understanding the final moments of a flight. Despite the name, these devices are actually painted bright orange to enhance visibility during recovery operations. The black box is built to withstand extreme conditions, including high-impact crashes, intense fires, and deep-sea pressure. It is usually installed at the rear of the aircraft, as this section is more likely to remain intact in the event of a crash. There are two main components of the black box: the Flight Data Recorder (FDR) and the Cockpit Voice Recorder (CVR). The FDR captures a wide range of technical data from the flight, such as airspeed, altitude, heading, and engine performance. It can record hundreds to thousands of parameters depending on the aircraft systems. This helps investigators reconstruct the plane's trajectory and system behavior over time. The CVR, on the other side, records audio from the cockpit, typically covering the last 2 hours of a flight. It captures pilot conversations, radio transmissions with air traffic control, and ambient sounds in the cockpit, such as the alarms or engine noises. This audio evidence provides insight into the crew's actions, decisions, and possible problems they encountered before an accident occurred. In addition to their rugged design, most black boxes are fitted with an underwater locator beacon (ULB) that activates when submerged in water. This beacon emits signals for up to 30 days, assisting search teams in locating the device. Overall, the black box serves as the memory of the aircraft, playing a vital role in improving aviation safety and preventing future accidents by revealing what went wrong or right during a flight. The sources for this information are the Federal Aviation Administration (FAA), Bureau of Aircraft Accident Archives (BAAA), and National Transportation Safety Board (NTSB).
Well, Ghana is not the only country reeling from disasters. An air ambulance has crashed into a residential area near the Kenyan capital, Nairobi, killing at least 6 people and injuring 2 others according to a local official. Now, the mid-sized jet took off from Wilson Airport at 2:17 p.m. local time, which is around 11:17 GMT on Thursday, and was en route to Somaliland when it came down in Raiwu in Kambu County shortly after 3 p.m. Images taken by reporters from the AFP news agency on the scene showed huge crowds had gathered as rescue teams from the Kenya Red Cross and first responders picked through the scattered debris. The CEO of the charity AMREF Flying Doctors, Stephen Gitau, confirmed one of their aeroplanes, a Cessna Citation XLS, had been involved in a fatal accident, but did not provide further details. Gitau said the company was focusing on the safety and well-being of those on board and said that further information will be provided.
Kuna watu sasa ndio tunataka kujua ndege iko ishaisha maji kuisha. Wewe unauliza ndege imeisha hapa. Kuna watu ini mlango hii.
Also in the U.S., 2 people were killed Thursday after the helicopter they were in struck power lines crossing the Mississippi River and crashed onto a barge below, police have said. The accident happened around 11 a.m. as the crew of the helicopter was conducting work on the power lines that cross the river in the area of St. Charles County, Missouri. State Patrol Corporal Dallas Thompson told reporters. Now, the helicopter crashed onto the barge and there was a fire, but it was quickly extinguished, he said. Now, no one on the barge was hurt. First responders evacuated the vicinity because the crash had sent a power line into the water, but it was later found that the wire was not live. Thompson said the crash happened in Illinois, which is across the Missouri state line and the Mississippi River, north of St. Louis, officials have said. Wallace Meyer, who was conducting a fishing charter in the area when the crash occurred, told NBC affiliate KSDK of St. Louis that it happened fast. Well, my colleague Hannah Odame is at the Flagstaff House, where memorial has been mounted for the lost to her souls. Let's talk to her and find out what's happening now. Hannah, what can you report?
Yeah, as you can see in your shots, we have some members of the Ghana Air Force. They are here to pay their last respect to their colleagues who are Squadron Leader Peter Anala. We have Flying Officer Manichum Ampedu, Sergeant Ernest Domensa. They have just come here and they paid their last respects to them. They brought in the wreath and then also to lay some candles. As we can see, if you can see in your shot, we have the Deputy Chief of Staff, Nana Oyelitha, leading a delegation to also present, to also lay the wreath. And this is from, as I can see from, oh, I lost that. They are also laying the wreath. Okay, so these are the national, okay. Okay, I'm going to Nana Oyelitha for her to tell us briefly exactly who they are. Can you please kindly tell us, we are live on Joy News. Who are these and what are they?
This is the external election trainers for NDC for the 2024 elections, coming to lay flowers in honor of Dr. Edward Kofi Omane-Boamah and all the other 7 who have died tragically.
So yes, Mamiesi, you heard there, external trainers for the election of the NDC. They are just here currently to lay the wreath on behalf of their other members, and then they will light some candles as well. So you can see them solemn mood. They are quite solemn. They are going towards where the pictures, and there you can see them. They are laying the wreath, very solemn mood. In fact, he's crying. The representative there, they have just laid a wreath. Some tears are dropping from their eye. They have just bowed. They are right in front of Alhaji Muniru Mohammed, who is the acting Deputy National Security Coordinator. They have gone back to where they were standing, together with the Deputy Chief of Staff. And they are just about to say a word or two to us, so we are going towards them. Mamiesi, hold on. They will speak to us very briefly. I'll just give it. So yeah, they are just about to address us. Let's go live.
Okay. So tell us why you are here. I mean, we know why you are here, but just give us some keywords.
Actually, we work closely with Honorable Dr. Omani Buama during election 2024 program. He assigned us to each of the constituencies to train the various polling agents of the NDC party. Before he assigned us, he gave us orientation, gave us a brief training before we were dispatched. And he's somebody who will love so much because of his demeanor and his knowledge. I have been following election of the NDC in training polling agencies 2000, the year 2000. But never in my life have I ever met such a person like Dr. Omani Buama. Precision, accuracy is his hallmark. Last 2 weeks, during the accountability series, I met him and we rescheduled a meeting. And he even gave my contact to secretary from his ministry to contact me for the rescheduled meeting. I was waiting for that meeting to come on only to be told that our boss, who we worked so closely, whose vision and policies gave us the victory that we never saw in the history of NDC. In fact, it came as a shock to some of us. The team was so devastated. So this morning, we organized ourselves and decided that we would come in honor of his memory and the good work that he did for some of us and for NDC party, to honor him and to mourn with the family. So this is in brief the reason why we came here. My name is Kelvin Abraham Wayu Tete. My designation is Lejo Kuku. I am a former propaganda secretary, Lejo Kuku constituency, a former member of Set the Local Streets. So I have been a member of the NDC, and then a member of external trainers that was constituted by Honorable Dr. Omani Buama for election 2024.
And so we just head there. Watched by Dr.
And there in your shot from the Jubilee House, a memorial set up for the fallen patriots of our country. You had there Hannah Odami interviewing some party members who had come there to also pay their tribute. We'll definitely go back there as and when we get the very latest, but I think it's open to the public for anyone to express their tributes or sorrow in this time. Well, still on the desk, the Ghana Journalists Association has officially suspended all its activities in solemn commemoration of the tragic helicopter crash that claimed the lives of the 2 ministers and the 6 others. Now, the crash, which occurred at Adanse district of the Ashanti region, has left the nation mourning. General Secretary of the association, Dominic Loy tells Joy News the decision to suspend the association's activities is a mark of deep respect.
News journalist Carlos Kaloni was reporting at a demolition exercise at Spintex when he was attacked by uniformed operatives. While interviewing an eyewitness, the individual was beaten. Carlos was struck twice in the neck, his equipment taken, and he was forcefully taken to a national security office at Blue Gate. He was released hours later, only after the Interior Minister intervened. At a press briefing, GJA President Albert Dunfor did not hold back, warning they may blacklist the security institutions and pursue legal actions both locally and internationally.
We demand that the Ghana Police Service and the National Security provides a public explanation for the arrest and detention of Carlos Kaloni and his cameraman. Additionally, we request the immediate release of any findings or internal reviews conducted regarding the uniform officers involved. If the Ghana Police Service fails to act decisively within the next 7 days, as already stated, the GJA, in consultation with key stakeholders, will announce a nationwide media blackout of all police activities. We will instruct our members to withhold coverage of police events, refuse participation in police press briefings, and suspend all forms of editorial engagement involving the police.
The GJA president said the attack is part of a growing trend of attacks on journalists.
The data available to us, the information and records available to us indicate that the average attack on journalists every year starts at 12. So if we have already recorded 12, even before the end of the 7th month, it is very, very scary and alarming.
Mr. Dunfor says it will no longer remain silent. It has given a 1-week ultimatum to the police and other security agencies.
A detailed update on the status of investigations into all reported attacks against journalists across the country within the past 7 months. We expect these demands to be met within 7 days from the date of this statement. And I want to reiterate, I want to take this again.
Well, the GJA's Dominic Loy tells Joy News the decision to suspend the association's activities is a mark of deep respect.
The whole nation is in distress. We've been faced with what we call the national disaster or national tragedy. And so we have decided as the leaders of the Ghana Journalists Association to suspend all planned activities relating to what you've asked. And so, if you are aware, the very people we are sending our issues to are the ones that are not in the right frame of mind now because of what has happened. And so we've taken the decision to suspend all planned activities until further notice. So if you ask me about the deadline for our ultimatum, which is today, we have decided to suspend all planned activities so that we'll find time to deal with this issue when everything is, when we are all in the right frame of mind. So as we speak, the GJA is holding on to all that it has planned. We've had some engagements, some few engagements with some key people, and even on the day of the event, there have been some talks.
Well, we go back to the Jubilee House where the acting Chief Justice is there to pay his tribute.
Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, Alhaji Muniru Muhammad, the Deputy National Security Coordinator. Also, we have the National Vice Chairman of the NDC, who was in the person of Dr. Samuel Sapon. Also, Samuel Abuaji, Acting Deputy Director. We also have the Squadron Leader, Peter Anala, the Flying Officer, Chum Ampedu, and of course, Sergeant Ernest Ado. All these gallant men lost their lives whilst in service.
Not an interview. Okay.
We can take you away from
Relax, 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 please. Relax.
On behalf of the Judicial Service and the Judiciary, I release a statement of condolence to His Excellency the President, the government and the people, and the bereaved families. Now we are here to commiserate with the President by laying our flowers. And as I said yesterday in my statement, which was actually repeated by the President in his somber address to the people, these gallant men died in the course of duty. And so we should forge ahead in national unity and not politicize their deaths. We should all have recourse to their legacy they left behind and then serve our nations to the best of our ability. Thank you very much.
That is the Acting Chief Justice, Bafuboni. He's just calling for peace. We shouldn't politicize the death of the demise of the departed souls. He's calling for national unity at this point.
And you just saw in your shot there Justice Paul Bafuboni laying a wreath for the departed souls at the Jubilee House. Right about now, let's move to Obuasi, where my colleague Emmanuel Kweku is at the site where the crash happened. We understand that soldiers are still combing the crash site to retrieve the wreckage of the military helicopter. Emmanuel, what can you report? Emmanuel Kweku, if you can hear me, what can you report from where you are?
Okay, so Mamiesi, from where I am, the situation is that the police or the military officers are still trying their best to comb the Dampier Forest Reserve to actually retrieve the wreckage of the helicopter, as we have already seen. And so this morning, efforts are still underway. We understand yesterday, as confirmed by the President, that they have been able to retrieve the flight data recorder and also the audio, the cockpit audio recorder. And this was facilitated in investigations into circumstances that led to this crash. And in fact, once this has been attained, efforts to also attain the wreckage, the entire part of the helicopter is underway by the military or soldiers. We understand, and some of them are taking shifts. They move in, and once they are stationed for a while, they move out, and then another set of soldiers will come in for them to undertake this particular exercise. In fact, I would want to paint a picture for you to see how the mountain or the forest looks like. If you can see, we've had some early morning drizzle, just some few minutes from now. And if you can see in your shot, you could see that the mountain is actually cloudy or hazy, if you would put it. And so it's quite difficult. The visibility at that end is quite difficult for you to actually navigate through the forest. And in fact, as we have said, the incident happened at the tip of the mountain, and so it takes quite a long time for you to move to this particular crash scene. And so for at least some 1 hour and 30 minutes, you would have to spend by walking to the scene. And so efforts to the side is not quite an easy one. It's quite Herculean. But the military or soldiers here are trying their very best to retrieve the wreckage from the helicopter crash that claimed 8 of our gallant men of this country. So Mamiesi, this is currently the situation here in the Sika Man Brofuyedru in the Adanse Akrofom district of the Ashanti region.
Right, just to get the feel of the community, when you got there, what's the mood? Aside the military doing their work, combing through the Dampier range to, retrieve the wreckage of the helicopter, how are the people reacting?
If you can see, you would see some of the women here actually going about their daily duties, some of them selling. Those who will be going to farm, they are going to their farm. For those who will be doing any other activities, it's just they've gone back to their normal duties here when you come to the town, Mamiesi.
Right, thank you very much, Bright. I'm sure when you get the very latest on this, we'll get to know about it. You're still listening to Joy News Desk. We're just coming back from Sika Brofuyedru in the Ashanti region in Obuasi, where the crash happened. And Emmanuel Brakweko is there, surveying what's happening with the military on ground and still investigating the cause of the crash. You're still listening to Joy News Desk. We'll take a break. We'll return with more.
Welcome back to Business here on Newsdesk. My name is Winston Taki, and now to our first business story. The National Communications Authority, NCA, has said MultiChoice Ghana Limited with a notice of its intention to suspend the company's subscription management service for a satellite television broadcasting authorization pursuant to Section 13 of the Electronic Communications Act 2008, Act 775. Here is more.
The move announced on Thursday stems from growing concerns about the company's pricing structure. In a statement, the NCA cited Section 13 of the Electronic Communications Act 2008, Act 775, as the legal basis for the action. It stated that the current pricing model employed by MultiChoice Ghana is deemed inimical to the public interest, prompting regulatory scrutiny. The authority did not immediately disclose the specific aspects of the pricing model that triggered the action, but industry observers have pointed to recent public complaints about frequent and steep subscription fee increases. As required by law, the NCA has given MultiChoice Ghana 30 days to respond. During this period, the company may present its position, offer remedial actions, and submit a written statement of objections to the impending suspension. The development marks a significant turning point in the regulatory relationship between the NCA and one of Ghana's most prominent paid television providers. If the suspension proceeds, it could disrupt access to popular satellite TV services for thousands of subscribers across the country. The authority, however, emphasized that its actions are guided by a responsibility to uphold public interest and protect consumers from exploitative practices. However, MultiChoice Ghana is yet to issue a formal response to the notice. In the meantime, the NCA has encouraged calm among subscribers and assured the public that it remains committed to regulating the communications industry fairly and responsibly.
Now, away from that, oil exploration firm Tullow has recorded a loss after tax for the first half of this year. This was captured in its half-year financials release on August 7, 2025. There is more in this report.
Half-year numbers also showed that Tullow Oil is reducing its loss position. The financials revealed that the loss of the tax reduced from $196 million to $61 million ending June this year. However, in terms of gross revenue, it reached more than $500 million ending June this year. Talu also argued that it is pressing ahead with measures that would help improve its performance going forward. It again added that some of these measures are actually yielding some results that would help fast-track the recovery of the oil exploration firm in the coming months. Talu Oil also announced that it has revised downwards its production targets for the end of this year.
That's all for business. My name is Winston Taki. Mamiesi, over to you.
Thank you, Winston. And as usual, we're also observing the 3-day mourning, national mourning of the fallen heroes. But that's all we have today on our desk. We'll be back again next week.